This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Hey, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thanks for joining us here at KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Breakdown. It's 10:30. It's Tuesday. Welcome all. Welcome on here for the day today. First of all, if some of you are aware, I'm starting, 1 minute late. I hope that doesn't ruin your plans. But anyways, here for the day today, I was doing some setting up here behind the scenes with. I always love the setup of how the Zoom meetings work. The point is, we have an interview. We have a guest who's on the side, who's watching on DeVonte Dixon. He's a meteorologist with KNOE. Okay, just making sure I said that right. He's over in Monroe, Louisiana. Last week we did a talk with meteorologist Joel Young over in Arkansas. It was pretty cool. The point of getting these talks together with certain meteorologists is to kind of check in on neighbors, so to speak. See how we're doing in regards to severe storms that have kind of taken a little bit of a break recently, as in the past few days. But they could be ramping up, unfortunately, here back again heading into the next couple of days. I will say, though, it is June. Hopefully, severe weather season kind of ramps down a little bit. But we could be talking about tropics, briefly as well on our interview with DeVonte here in just a little bit. So I'm getting ahead of myself. The point is, here's the rundown. Got an interview with DeVonte Dixon coming up here. He was a meteorologist with Monroe, Louisiana, KNOE. That'll be after our forecast, which we always do first and foremost here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. So at least stick around for that. And, stick around to meet DeVonte because he is morning meteorologist just like myself. And just like him, our schedules are one of a kind. One of a kind. We share that in common. Anyways, we'll get to DeVonte here in just a little bit, but let's go over the forecast here in depth in the Arklatex. Again, also keep in mind, for those of you watching on YouTube, I always say this every once in a while, on YouTube, you can make the comments live on our live stream at KSLA News. All you do is type in youtube.com, search in KSLA News 12, and then you go search up KSLA News 12 on the YouTube page, or on youtube.com. And then there should be the live link there. Should be be able to find it easily. And then all you have to do is ask your live comments, ask your live questions, and you can do that both for me and DeVonte whenever he comes on. Whenever I decide to allow him out of the doldrums of our software here. So anyways, live look at our John Harvey Toyota Skycam. It is a beautiful day out all across Bossier City. You can see the sunshine and blue skies all around the Arklatex, making it for a fantastic day. I got a good run in yesterday afternoon, and I hope you do the same again here for the day today, because this overall is your final day of no rain at all in the Arklatex. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say it's going to be a soaked 7-day forecast, but we do have the chance of storms starting tomorrow, and that could be carrying us into a good portion of this work week coming up here, at least the rest of it, and also into the weekend. Sorry. More on that in just a little bit. Let's get a look elsewhere. Texarkana, it's almost the same thing. A few high cirrus clouds here for the meantime, but nothing of which is doing us any harm at all. We'll take a look at the radar here in just a little bit. Here's your current conditions around the region. Highs, this is not high temperatures. These are current temperatures in the low to mid 80s all around the Arklatex with lots of sunshine. I get a few patchy cloud cover, but a little bit of some patchy cloud cover, but overall, nothing of which is doing us any bad here for the moment. Temperatures, again, elsewhere, 81 in Minden, 82 Magnolia, 82 in Carthage, 82 for Idabel, 82 also in Mount Pleasant. With the highs outside today, let's talk temperatures first before we get into the main story of the rain. Highs today, similar to that of yesterday. We started out on a little bit of a warmer morning, but overall, I kind of said this yesterday, our temperatures aren't changing by that much at all over the next several days. We have a little slight deviance or little tiny change here for the day tomorrow, but that's really it here for the long term. Highs are going to be pretty much staying in those lower 90s with feels like temperatures in the upper 90s because that humidity will stay there. We're going to talk more on that in the whole surface map here coming up, which we talk more about when we're talking about rain chances again, which is after the temperatures. Lower 90s again, store all across eastern Texas. 92 in Shreveport, 92 in Natchitoches, 89 out towards Ruston. That's the closest spot we have out towards DeVonte's Monroe DMA out east of here. As I said, we will get to that in a little bit. Highs tomorrow, upper 80s only. This is pretty much your only change here in the temperatures until Monday, pretty much. Highs are staying in the lower 90s. I should say this. Highs are being restored into the lower 90s, especially once we get into Thursday, Friday, and the weekend here for the most part. So highs take a little tiny dip down into tomorrow. I think that's going to be because we have a little more cloud cover around the Arklatex, which could lead into a few pop-up showers. Do notice, though, the northern edge of the Arklatex, Idabel, DeQueen, Mount Pleasant, highs are only in the lower 80s. Out near there, they're going to be closer to a cold front that now we're going to start to discuss a little bit. Current first alert Doppler radar. Let me get myself out of the picture so you can see the full thing. Thankfully, there is not any storms anywhere around the Arklatex, but let's take a look elsewhere around the region, and that is not the case regionally. We have a few speckles of some storms showing up in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, a little bit of some scattered stormy activity showing up around Austin, and a good line of storms right now all across Kansas and Missouri. That line in Kansas, especially right around Wichita, that line's going to start to extend southward into areas of Oklahoma right down in here somewhere. And this is going to continue to move eastward, essentially, in just a little bit. So that's what we're watching out for with our next line of storms that's continuing to come on by. A low pressure and cold front is looking to approach the Arklatex. Now, I do want to stress the word approach. It will not cross through the Arklatex. Honestly, this is a sight to behold of what's going to happen here later on this work week because, again, we have a cold front on our doorstep. Realistically, that cold front is not even going – it's pretty much past San Angelo, by the way. The cold front is more – let me see if I can get out my pointer, which I'm trying to get a little more a little more of some other tools here on the podcast. We're essentially looking for this cold front right along here, right along the western edge of Dallas right now, down towards Austin. It's a little bit east of where that graphic's showing. I updated that early this morning. So the point is, it's right along here, and you would think that this would mean doom and gloom for all the Arklatex here over the next couple days, but if you did see that high-pressure system off to our east, that's going to be our life and savior here over the next couple of days. Now, that doesn't mean we're not getting rain again, period, here in the Arklatex. That is not the case. We do have storms coming on for the northern half of the region here for your Wednesday and Thursday. Even some spotty, stray thunderstorms that could still pop up in the afternoon hours here across your Wednesday and Thursday here for the I-20 corridor southward. Thankfully, on top of all this, severe weather is unlikely. Now, let's get straight into the future track. Again, storms starting to pop up in central Oklahoma, especially here for this afternoon. That could lead us to some severe weather around there. And those storms are looking pretty intense again as they start to head eastward and trek into the region here. Close to here a little later on tonight. Now, the earliest these storms can come in is 9 p.m. They start to come in around 10 and 11 p.m. And if you notice, especially after we hit 11 o'clock, the storms start to fizzle out, especially along that leading edge. A few more storms can form behind it to where we still get consistent rain coverage throughout the overnight and into the early morning hours in areas north of I-30, essentially McCurtain County, DeQueen, watching out for areas of Red River County too, near Clarksville. But the point is these storms don't go any farther eastward at all. This is just going to be something that's reserved for the I-30 corridor northward with that first big round that's coming again late tonight into early tomorrow morning. This is mainly going to be impacting us once more into the overnight hours. Then for tomorrow afternoon, it's almost like a separate system forms. Got a little line forming again from Mount Pleasant towards DeQueen once more, but a few pop-up storms could form in front anywhere else around the Arklatex, including Shreveport and Bossier, and the rest of the region here. And kind of the same thing happens once more here for your Thursday afternoon after briefly drying up. Got another round of some storms showing up here, especially in the northern half of the Arklatex once more for your Thursday. Now, to go on past that, here is the severe weather outlook here for the day today. Now, obviously, we only have a marginal risk, and it's mainly tailored to those storms coming through here for the late night hours across Red River County and McCurtain County only. Keep in mind, again, it's just the slim marginal risk in for those areas. Usually when we face this kind of a severe weather outbreak, I wouldn't call it an outbreak. That's the wrong word. Let me call it severe weather risk, because it's just a slight risk in the areas off to our west towards eastern Texas and towards central Oklahoma. When we usually see this today, people would usually go, oh no, this is coming eastward. What's the severe risk for tomorrow, Evan? Well, here it is. And I actually showed this on air. Usually you don't want to, show like a blank slate. You don't bother with these kind of graphics at all. But this just goes to show you the point. We have no severe weather risk at all with the storms coming through here for the day on Wednesday, which is great news, because I almost call it like a brick wall. It's a brick wall of high pressure system that the cold front's just slamming off against and almost dissipating along areas along and north of I-30. So again, that's where the bulk of the rain's going to be here for the next 3 days, at least the measurable rainfall. Some of that could maybe slither into eastern Texas, but look at Shreveport and Bossier. You're not expecting much besides maybe a brief pop-up thunderstorm over the course of the next 3 days. That's just the next 3 days, though. There's still got plenty more rain coming for everybody. To be fair, look at the rain totals up to near Idabel and the Queen over the next 7 days. That's somewhere in the ballpark of 4 to 5 inches. That's a lot. And that could cause some flash flooding risks up near there. The rest of the region, though, still getting a solid inch, as there's going to be greater rain totals later on the 7-day forecast. So, oh, man, for today, just some spotty storms to deal with here for your Thursday, for your Wednesday, excuse me. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Yes, today is Tuesday, Evan, calendar. Greater chances of rain are around Texarkana, while less chances of storms are for the rest of the region. Now, I want to show you guys one more thing before I get into my, hold up, let me check real quick. Oh, let's see if I can find it. I found it. I realized I wanted to show you guys one more thing real quick before we get into a special I wouldn't call it a special segment here, but tropic segment here. Oh, man, and that is wrong. We love when graphics show up incorrectly on the podcast. That's when you know it's live. That's when you know it's live. Hold up. Let me fix this real quick. Bam. Severe weather risk here for Friday. There it is. It is tailored, again, just to the northern end of the Arklatex. It's a slim chance of severe weather out in there for Idabel and the Queen. And I do want to show you this as well, which is probably going to also be incorrect, because these graphics love to auto-update and, be, what's the word I'm looking for? Stubborn? Maybe? There you go. There's your Saturday severe weather risk, which also does include some of DeVonte's DMA over there in Monroe, a little bit towards southeastern Arkansas. But anyways, northern half of the Arklatex is under a severe weather risk here for tomorrow. Not tomorrow. This is for Saturday for some of those storms coming on through. So this is going to be a stormy pattern that continues to tailor itself to the northern end of the Arklatex, but thankfully not much, I guess not much more to the south than that, at least through Saturday. The storms get a lot more widespread for Sunday, unfortunately. We'll look at that in the 7-day forecast coming up. I want to look at one last thing before we get into the 7-day forecast here, and that is your first alert, eye on the tropics. We talked a little bit about this early this morning, and I was just talking about this yesterday. We were doing a tropic segment just yesterday for exclusive content. Today's exclusive content, we'll be talking with DeVonte here in just a moment, where we had no area of interest at all, but quickly, within 2 to 3 hours, next area of interest has shown up. We're watching out for a group and cluster of storms right now off the Florida peninsula. It is slowly moving up north and east and has a 10% chance of forming. So guess what? I got news for you. 2 good news. First of all, and most importantly, this area of interest is not affecting us. If this does form, it is moving off to the north and east, away from the Arklatex, right in here. It's going to go up the channel off what we call the Gulf Stream and go up to the northeast corner of the United States. Again, that is if it forms. That's a strong if, because main point number 2, it only has a 10% chance of forming. So overall, you're not going to be worrying about too much whatsoever. All right, 7-day forecast coming up here for you as soon as it loads. And we'll take a quick commercial break here in just a moment. 7-day forecast, again, highs are in the lower 90s here for the long-term period. The slight exception to that is 89 degrees, the high here for tomorrow. Highs will be in the 80s, though, heading into next week. Watch out. I wouldn't say watch out for that, but for those of you kind of trying to embrace some cooler temperatures, it looks like we will have those in store for you coming into next work week. Just watch out for some spotty storms, which could happen each and any afternoon, especially around Shreveport and Bossier. To be fair, again, rain chances are low. Don't consider the rest of the work week a washout by any means. Just a 20 to 30% chance of a pop-up shower forming in the afternoon hours starting tomorrow. At least today's completely dry. So enjoy today, but maybe think about grabbing out that umbrella. Pretty much each and every day you're going to need it for the afternoon hours. And then we're expecting a round of widespread storms somewhere around Sunday or Monday of next work week. All right. Hey, just checking YouTube real quick. I got nothing on YouTube. Good. Oh, why? That's not good, Evan. You want engagement for your audience. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. All right, so we went over the full forecast. When we come back, we'll have DeVonte on the stream after one quick commercial break for those of you looking forward to him. Good friend of mine, just putting that out there right now. We'll have a discussion on the recent severe weather trends and the recent heat for about a 10-minute discussion here after this on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Stick around. DeVonte's been waiting for a solid 20 minutes, so he's been in line for this. Hopefully he can stick around after this. We'll be back. Hey, good morning again. Welcome back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thank you so much for not only hanging around the First Alert Weather Breakdown, but also sticking around for exclusive content here for today. And I've seen this man twice. Has it been twice? I got to ask him. Hey, DeVonte, how many times have I seen you in person yet?
Yes.
It's two different times.
You had it right.
Okay, fair enough. Anyways, welcome on DeVonte Dixon onto the First Alert Weather Breakdown podcast. First of all, thanks for coming on. As I said, I know you've traveled out here twice. I guess just first and foremost, how have you been recently, especially with morning show weather? I know a couple storms have been forming up over the last week or so, but just kind of give us a synopsis of what's been going on in Monroe, obviously recently with the recent severe weather trends.
Situations as you guys, we had those MCSs, which is a fancy word for saying, or fancy term for saying a cluster of storms, a large cluster of storms. I know we had that move through from you guys all the way to our area, I think, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, give or take.
Weeks go by so fast. Right, give or take. We had those come through, but outside of that, lately it has been rather quiet. Just been dealing with the heat and humidity. That I think is the big story for us and for you guys as well as we go throughout the week.
Yeah, it's been returning. We had highs back into the lower 90s. I will say, did you enjoy this past weekend? I think you felt that some of that lower humidity, I believe, right, and lower temperatures, cooler temperatures as well.
Right, yes, those cooler temperatures, because we only had highs in the 80s over the weekend, and even yesterday temperatures only made it to the upper 80s, but when you factor in that humidity, it makes a whole difference.
Oh, it's a barn burner out there. I keep mentioning feels like temperatures
Right.
every single week. I think this is the first time today I haven't as much mentioned it because, man, I might be stagnant in this as well because the heat just remains. I mean, I was kind of just discussing it on the 7-day forecast. It's not going anywhere. You don't see that low humidity, those cooler temperatures happening anytime soon. Even the cold front, which approaches our region, I mean, first of all, it's certainly not getting anywhere near you guys at all.
No. At most, it's bringing maybe some showers and storms on Saturday, but outside of that, it is not going to bring us any relief. In fact, this morning I was mentioning, hey, you might as well get used to the heat because it's with us through the rest of the week and weekend and even into next week.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So just out of curiosity, I will say over the past, man, has it been a couple weeks? I guess 2-3 weeks. I've had a pop-up tornado warning or two in the overnight hours that I've had to go off for with recent severe weather trends. Have you had to do anything like that severe weather-wise? Any recent tornado warnings that you've had to pop on for recently?
And I mean, I did have to stay after or come back rather for I believe it was week before last or last week. Some like I said, these weeks are going by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe I came back because we had like a few tornado warnings in the area
Yeah.
in the Arc Limits region. But outside of that, in the mornings, that is, I have not had any instances where I had to, pop on lately, which is great.
Well, hey, that's good news. And as we kind of just
Yes.
discussed, the cold front that's kind of getting on our doorstep here for tomorrow here in the Arklatex, obviously is hitting our western edge. You're our eastern neighbor, so that's, again, as I kind of reiterated, that's going nowhere near you. So you get to kind of camp out with the heat and humidity still for the next week. Am I right?
The rest of the week for us is actually trending drier through at least Friday. It's really the weekend where if we see any rain is when we have that best chance. I know there's a cold front to our north that's bringing, Saturday, those showers and storms to parts of our area, mainly north of I-20. And then I know you mentioned about that severe weather risk, which is, which encompasses our area as well, parts of our area, southern Arkansas to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, yeah, the rest of the week is really mainly dry. I know we have the Ruston Peach Festival Saturday.
Ooh.
Yeah, you should go.
Hopefully that remains dry, but yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Oh yes. Right now it's looking mainly dry, but of course may have to dodge a shower or two. It's kind of questionable. But I know the severe weather looks to be mainly further north, though. So.
Which is good news for now. As I kind of said in my 7-day forecast, the most the widespread blanket trend that like moves it finally along and south of I-20 doesn't really hit us until Sunday, I think, for the most part. It kind of just lingers on that northern edge of the region with just a couple showers up near there, a pop-up shower here and there for the rest of the region, but then it finally crashes down, it looks like, over the course of the weekend, which isn't good for the weekend, but hopefully it keeps that Ruston Peach Festival dry.
But it's funny, because we're in different markets, but we experience basically the same weather conditions. Like I know you mentioned how the weather on Sunday would be a bit more widespread, and that's about what we are expecting the rain to be more widespread on Sunday and maybe even on Monday. So even though we're in different markets, we're neighbors, so we experience about the same stuff.
Yeah,
Y'all just get it before we do.
I wanted to ask you about we talked about heat and humidity obviously being a big factor for you, especially over the next week or so. I don't think it's anything reaching record highs for you over the next week, but have you seen any record highs so far this spring? I know Shreveport, for example, 96 degrees, I think was a record high, I think like 2 weeks ago. Here, we've occasionally broken record highs, and we've gotten hot before, but we've had these little cooling trends, especially this past weekend, that have kind of helped relieve us. How has your, I guess, temperature pattern been recently? Have you seen any kind of high temperatures getting way out of place?
Temperatures have been above average, but not to the point where we've broken any like records lately. I do know we broke some records at least, for the spring season, but As far as like lately, at least within a month or so, I don't think we broke any records. Just have been really hot. Temperatures have been at least, I would say, at least 5 degrees hotter than normal.
That's fair. It's just a little bit, but it's not too unbearable, is what you're saying.
Yeah, not too unbearable. It's nothing like I like to say. It's nothing compared to summer 2023. That was by far when I moved down here. It was scorching.
Ooh, 2 years ago. Oh man. Well,
I wonder though, like now it makes me wonder. Okay, well, how is this summer going to be like? Last summer wasn't as bad, but how's this summer going to turn out? Especially when you already have a hot, spring. Just like, okay, well, where?
and Memorial Day weekend was just 2 weekends ago.
Right.
Yeah, but now that we've gotten into the beginning of June, I did want to ask you about tropical season, because I think, at least for us here in the Arklatex, the two main storms impacted us, and one more than the other. I forget the name of the second one. It started with an F, I think. I'll get to that in just a moment. Go ahead. I think it was Francine, I think. I believe so. Last week. But anyways, we had Beryl roll through here specifically in July. That definitely impacted you guys, definitely a little bit as well. But if you remember all the tornado warnings that went through the Arklatex it was July 7th. We're coming up on a year anniversary of that. Obviously, that was the big impact. And that was a cat. People always forget about this. I remind people of this. It was a Cat 5 in the middle of July, or not in the middle of July, even better my point, early July, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Obviously, it didn't make landfall as a Cat 5 at all on the coast of Texas, but it was still able to pack a punch and give us all those tornado warnings and all those confirmed tornadoes almost a year ago in the Arklatex. And then I think Francine came up and gave us a whole day of rain in the month of September, with no rain surrounding any. No rain coming either way before or way after that system moved on through. So I guess, how has tropical season impacted you from last year, and what are you expecting for this year?
Well, I would say last year, of course, like you mentioned, when we had Beryl come through, it spun a lot of tornado warnings nearby, like mainly for you guys. But we did have some warnings in our area. And then, like as you also mentioned with Francine, with the heavy rain, I know a lot of people don't realize, like, although we're further inland, we can definitely get, some of those impacts from those storms as they track further inland. And so one of the things that, like I said, the biggest thing for us is the severe weather that we get from these storms. And then, of course, the flooding, especially in low-lying areas. And so one of the things that I try to also stress, even when we don't have any, I guess, outlook put out for a possible tropical formation, I always stress, like, hey, it's hurricane season. Still make sure that you're prepared for what could come our way, or, whatnot. And so one of the things that I am for this hurricane season, as we know by the NOAA put out,
There you go,
about the above average hurricane season and things like that. So I could definitely see that happening, especially with the warmer ocean waters and things like that. So but like I said, for us, we usually just get mostly just the rain from the outer bands of the storms and severe weather.
Yeah. Which obviously, as you mentioned, storm surge is an impact, but it still impacts your severe weather, especially in the summer months, which are usually completely dry. It's almost your only source of rain sometimes for an entire month. I think that was even the case for us last September, which was kind of wild. All right, last question I have for you. Obviously, you're in Monroe. You've been here twice in Shreveport. I still got to come over there, kind of repay the favor a little bit. You mentioned the Ruston Peach Festival. I'll have to check my calendar. Saturday's a little close for making plans. But if there's something I got to go to in Monroe, just a place, maybe a festival, especially this coming summer, just really quickly, what should I go to, especially with the heat and the humidity there?
Great. I know I came there for the Mardi Gras parade.
Yes, you did.
We have a pretty nice Mardi Gras parade here too.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we have two of them. Yeah, 2 Mardi Gras parades here. But I would have to say it was something I went to, and I cannot. So we have this thing called Downtown River Market.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it have like a lot of different vendors along the strip, but they have a lot of different like really great vendors. I mean, I've had all kinds of like sweets and treats and things, and they also have like a lot of different like people selling shirts and paintings, and it's almost like a flea market in a way, but it's really nice, and I really enjoy it. That's probably like one of the best things that I've done since I've been here. But there are a lot
That's
of
cool.
things. Like I said, we have the parades
Uh-huh.
and then outside of Monroe, of course, we have, the Ruston Peach Festival. We also have recently actually we had my brain went completely blank.
So
What was
it's the end of our shift. It's okay.
Thank you for understanding. Because I get like this every time. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's really nice. It's a lot of different things down here to do. I'll get you roped into it.
Oh, I bet you will. I bet you will. You'll text me on the side, all right? But anyways, thanks for joining us on the first Slow Weather Breakdown. I appreciate it. Yeah, you got any final things? Because I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was good talking to you and catching up again.
Of course. Always good to catch up. And, yeah, I'll see you again next time, all right? Thanks for joining us on the breakdown here for today. Everybody, again, DeVonte Dixon he's at our sister station out at KNOE. I said that correctly, right? KNOE. Okay. It flows off the tongue whenever you say it repeatedly, so you're used to it. You're used to it. But anyways, thank you very much. And thank you for watching First Slow with a Breakdown again. We'll see you again tomorrow at 10:30 again. I will not be your host. CJ should be here. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge, who also DeVonte knows very well. Thank you, DeVonte. He will be on the First Slow with a Breakdown hosting, hopefully here for tomorrow. I don't know what he's talking about. We'll see. I'm going to get in with him. But guess what? It's going to be a surprise here for Wednesday's episode. So CJ Cartledge will be hosting your Wednesday episode of First Slow with a Breakdown tomorrow at 10:30. You be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. Enjoy the rest of your sunny day. Enjoy your one last dry day here for the day today before rain comes back in. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.